Well, hello there, YouTube. I have returned. It's on a different channel, though, and that's due to some personal reasons to distance myself from some certain people. But with that all out aside, let's get to what the title suggests. My thoughts on Black Ops Cold War. So, first things first, I'm going to go over some info that Treyarch and Co. have dropped and my personal experience over the alpha and beta, just to sum up what this video is. And let's get started with my personal experience with the alpha. So when they announced the alpha, I was excited to try it out before pre-ordering because, well, due to prior Call of Duty games that Treyarch has put out, Black Ops 4, I was a little iffy. But the biggest downside of this was having to play on PlayStation. A console I exclusively use for anime games, some VR games, and the good old PlayStation third-person over-the-shoulder film. But overall, though, I had a good time. The little issues that the alpha had were mostly just some of the animations were janky. The guns, they sounded like shit. Like, they were awful. And shotguns in the alpha were fucking pieces of trash. They were shit. And then another side note, because this alpha bit is going to be very, very, very short. I didn't have as much of a good time with the alpha because I had to play on the PS4 controller, and playing with the Elite Series 2, like Xbox controller, has spoiled the fuck out of me, and it's kind of hard to play shooters with a PS4 controller now. But other than that, the alpha was pretty good. Okay, so as I said, my alpha points were really short, and they were kind of basic as fuck, if I'm going to be honest with you. And that's mostly due to the fact that the alpha happened, almost a month ago at the point of recording. So my opinions were kind of, rusty, I guess. But my opinions of the beta are fresh on my mind and I'm ready to discuss them. But first off, before we get to that, I want to state now that I'm impressed that this is the first game out of all the Call of Duties, really, to allow you to play with the FOV slider on console. And as you'll notice from the gameplay, I'm playing at max 120, and I had no issues performance-wise out of the Xbox One X with this. Now, I did hear, though, that, at least on the PS4 private beta, that Pro PS4s and basic PS4s couldn't really go to, at max 110. So it's nice to see that the One X is holding up. With that aside, after playing to the max of level 40, I have realized that I need to break this experience down into two parts. Gameplay experience. You'll know why soon enough. So first, my thoughts on Combined Arms. So for those of you who didn't play, or you've been living under a rock, Combined Arms is kind of like Cold War's version of Ground War. It's a 24 player count on bigger maps with tanks and bike-like vehicles. And in this beta, we were given two different game modes for this overarching mode. Assault and Domination. So Domination, polite as it sounds, it's got 6 objectives. They're flags. You stand on the flag, you capture it. You gain points based on the flags you have captured. You play to a point limit. An Assault would have one objective that both teams would rush to basically grab, and that would push the objective towards the losing side's spawn, and then you would push it again into their spawn, and capturing that final objective, you would win. It also had a momentum system in this, where, the more players on the point, the faster it goes, but if you were getting kills and capturing points consecutively, it would be either 2 to 3 times momentum and go faster. Though most of the time I played this game mode, it would kind of stalemate into us just pushing the point back and forth in between the middle and going to sudden death, which basically the way that would work for the game mode is it puts a point in the middle of the map and both teams, whoever grabs it, wins. Both these game modes are pretty fun. I actually had a little more fun with it than Ground War at the moment, but I don't know if it'll be able to keep my attention. I think it'll possibly even end up like Ground War, where I play it, I think it's fun, but overall it doesn't hold up like long term. Though that's also dependent on, I guess, the maps that come out, because at least in my opinion, my issue with Ground War was the maps kind of sucked later down the line. So, you know, we'll have to see whenever the game comes to full release. Alright, so VIP Escort kind of hit me out of nowhere. Only other time I've played a game mode like this is in Gears 5, and I like it both in that game and in this one. So, for those of you that don't know how this game mode works, you have 2 teams of 6, and everybody has 1 life. You can also be revived in Cold War, so there is that for this game mode. And also, if you're on bigger maps, there will be like motorcycle type vehicles that let you get around the map more efficiently. But that being said, the 2 teams are split up into, I guess, attackers and escorters, defenders, whatever you want to call them. The defending team, basically, at the beginning of the round, it would select 1 random player and change them to a VIP. This would change their player model to a distinct, like, random, like, no-name looking dude. It would give them a 1911, smokes, frags, a field mic, and a UAV to use. But your main objective on this team is to get your VIP player to one of the 2 points on the map and extract them. Or, technically, you could also win just by killing the entirety of the enemy team. Now, the attackers, their job is a lot simpler and a lot easier. Kill the VIP. That's quite literally the only thing they have to do to win. So this would mean, you know, you shoot them, they go down, you finish them off, you win instantly. That's it. And, you know, I had a good amount of fun with this game mode. It also seemed kind of balanced compared to some of the other game modes, and I'll get to that later in this video. By, you know, no team would kind of try too hard. It kind of seemed through most of the matches I played, everybody was just like, you know, you'd have competent teammates, you'd have competent enemies. It was just some fun. So this was the big banger of the beta, and where I spent a majority of my time. So Dirty Bomb worked like this. 10 teams, 4 players each, dropped in from a plane onto a large map. There would be 5 different objective points to drop in on, and the objectives worked by picking up uranium drops from either killing players, finding them in loot boxes around the map, or later into matches by looting care package drops. Once 20 bits of uranium were deposited into each point, it would prime, and the point any squad could run up and detonate this bomb. The main objective of every match was to be the first team to reach 500, and the points were given 1 per kill, 5 per deposit of uranium, and if your team managed to detonate a bomb, you'd receive 50. The mode also includes like a ton of vehicle options. They even had like helicopters with rocket pods, they had tanks, and, you know, the bikes for getting around quickly. They also had this like dune buggy with a gunner, but honestly, I never really touched it. So now some notes on this mode, because this mode is the most interesting of this beta and the prime thing. The first being an issue on day 1. Yeah, so this game mode runs on what I would like to assume is what Cold War's Warzone is going to feel like. You know, there's armor pickups, armor satchel upgrades, there's rarity on kill streaks, and, you know, all that shit when you get them on loot boxes. So, with this being said, there's a lot of shit going on in each match. Which led to the game having a literal fucking aneurysm after setting off 2 sets of bombs. It would drop performance so heavily that you would think either you started to run it on a potato computer or you're just super lagging. Though thankfully, after day 1, Treyarch put out a tweet. They were like, hey, we figured out the problem. It's because players drop guns. We're turning player weapon drops off, so they'll just drop the items that you actually need. And that's actually kind of a good thing, because it shows how effective maybe they're going to be with this game on patching like bugs and exploits, if they could get that done in like 1 day. So some final notes on the mode, though. It was a whole lot of fun. Kind of like a weird hybrid of Plunder and Ground War. My only massive complaint was that the gameplay base, it was kind of a gameplay based issue around respawning. So it's, you know, you die, you gotta wait like 10 seconds. Alright, to be able to spawn on a teammate. And if they're in combat, you can either spawn on them or you can spawn in from the air. Doesn't really matter. However, if your team gets wiped, you have to wait 20 seconds. So if you were like a second away from being able to spawn in on your teammate and they just died, Now you get knocked back to 20, meaning you gotta wait like 30 fucking seconds. Now I know, but Dash, it's just 30 seconds. Well, listen here. Those 30 seconds of jerking off looking at the map with 9 other squads progressing and pushing you down the fucking leaderboard fucking blows. Though other than that, the mode was pretty fun. Alright, now I want to go over some of my final thoughts and feelings about this beta. Let's get the negatives out of the way right now. So you may be wondering, but Dash, where the fuck is your review of core gameplay? Listen here, fucker. Here's the deal. That shit and my biggest complaint about this fucking beta. You fuckers, yes, you that played the beta, Jesus fucking Christ. Why are you so sweaty? Like, that beta was so sweaty. It smelled worse than both San Diego Comic-Con and a Magic the Gathering tournament combined. Like, fuck. There were some matches where it felt like I was only, like, the only competent player, and my entire team was just fucking drooling at the mouth. And every match of core I played, it felt like the entire enemy team were all just pros. Like, I cannot stand this shit. Like, fuck. So due to this, I won't be giving any opinions of core, because honestly, I don't think my opinions would be accurate of how it actually felt. Now on to the next negative though. Now I know this game has had a messy development road. I know the devs have also been working in this current messy climate, but whoever developed the fucking hit detection of this game needs to either get help or be fucking fired. It was so fucking bad. I'd get fucked 6 ways to Sunday around a corner or taking cover that I started to give up on watching kill cams because I just felt like they were inaccurate. So now for the final negative. So this never really affected me, but it did seem to affect some players, and that's the fact that there were fucking cheaters in this beta. Yeah, that's right. There were fucking players that were so pathetic they had to cheat in a beta. Yeah, where all the, like, stats are going to be wiped and all that, yeah. And that's a bit worrying, though, because it possibly, you know, with it already having cheaters in a beta, assuming there's going to be cheaters in multiplayer, and once this game gets its Warzone, that might turn people off from playing multiplayer, and that kind of sucks. Now, with all that shit out of the way, let's get to the overall positives I have. Overall, I had a fuck ton of fun. Towards the end of the beta, it was just me and the boys playing it, and on launch out of the box, I think that's how I'm gonna play multiplayer. It's just me and the boys when they want to. Also, I feel like Dirty Bomb is gonna stick around for me more than Plunder or Ground War ever really did, because that was a lot of fun when it wasn't filled with fucking sweats. I also enjoyed just the way that this game took. It seems like it's going for an just dumb, fun, over the top, you know, shit with a bit of mixed in Modern Warfare playstyle to it, and I like that because it felt more arcadey than tactical and competitive like Modern Warfare. You know, when I want to play multiplayer with COD, I kind of just want to relax and not like have to put on workout gear because I'm gonna stink of sweat after every match. I'm also a huge fan of how OP the class system works, and that they just brought over Modern Warfares and added wildcards. I think it's great that, like, it allows you to make dumb fun classes with having all the same perk type, or 8 attachments on your primary, or whatever guns in whatever places. It's great, it's fun, and I'm glad they didn't fucking bring Pick 10 pack. That's my thoughts on the entire experience that I've had with the game. Now let's get on to the next part. So that's right, we're going to speculate about the campaign. So I'm really excited for it. I was kind of excited for Modern Warfare's campaign when it came out, but it didn't have me jumping for joy like this does. So my favorite campaign experience out of all the Black Ops especially is 2. And it sounds like this game is going for that route, having missions with decisions and side missions that unlock as you progress. Though a bit of worrying info is the fact that we get to customize the playable character, and the last time a Black Ops game had a customizable character, we got to play as the wonderfully relatable protagonist of Black Ops 3, who is totally a human being, I swear. So yeah, a little worrying. But it does seem like, even though that's the case, some missions, at least from what they showed off at the PS5 event, are going to be played through, like, Mason and all of them. So even if the bits with your custom character fucking blow straight ass, we'll at least have, you know, the missions with the boys. Oh, and a final note for the custom character, you get 3 gender options: male, female, and classified. Alright, now we get to talk about the part of the game that has made me the most giddy every year, the zombies. Now, I know the last Treyarch game with zombies fucked us players the worst. Like the most. Us zombie players, we got fucked hard. Whether it be from promises that never came through, over fucking balancing the weapons, or just fucking us out of battle pass progression. I know, I should be on edge, and I should be worried that they're gonna fuck us over again. But fuck, dude, that gameplay that they showed, it looks fun as fuck. The first bit that made me glad that was stated, up front, they said that overall progression would carry across all modes, including zombies. And that's great. It also, they stated, zombie players would be able to progress through the battle pass day one. I like this. Those points alone make me excited to know that I won't feel like I'm wasting my time playing the mode I'd rather play when I need to play a, like, BR or whatever the fuck to progress. I'm also especially excited to see that they seem to be taking zombies in a fun first, balanced second route. I mean, no perk limit, perks are upgradable, starting the match with loadouts, and a fucking chopper gunners and zombies. This shit sounds so fun. I'm also excited that intel seems to be readily available outside of the game as well, so you won't just have to go in game, listen to a radio, or look at a piece of paper for a cipher. Plus, the addition of multiple game end states. Yeah, the game doesn't just have to end when you die or beat an Easter egg. Now you can exfil, but it seems like exfilling, they said, will amp up the difficulty while you wait for, I'm assuming, like a helicopter to come pick you up or something. Plus, with all this, D Machina looks great. It's familiar, but it's also different. Not only that, it would also seem we're getting Dead Ops Arcade 3, and that would be a fuck ton of fun, especially if it just upgrades on what Dead Ops 2 did. So I'm having to record this as I'm editing because yesterday we got a trailer for a new mode. Locked to PlayStation for a year. But thankfully this is a mode that's locked because it really looks like nothing. It looks like those of us on PC and Xbox aren't missing out on much. Zombies Onslaught just seems to be, hey, here's multiplayer maps, go from point to point fighting zombies, and you get some exclusive rewards. But really, if that's all that PlayStation's getting exclusive, everybody should be fine instead. It'll be as impactful as survival, like with Modern Warfare, because that really turned out to be nothing and kind of shitty, so we should be all set. Well, aside from Warzone and I guess possible leaks, that's kind of everything we have to discuss about this year's COD, at least from experiences I've had and speculation that's confirmed. I'd rather not worry about leaks too much, because that shit's always subject to change and might not even be right. Personally, I'm really fucking excited for this year's COD. It's almost like nostalgic older days, but with a fresh coat of paint, I guess. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just blinded by hype. Next month, I'll look like a fucking retard, and you all can be like, yeah, Dash, you were stupid. It's shit. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. You know, if there's any comments you want to make, leave them down there. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't, fuck around with the thumbs down. But I'm going to try to get back to consistently making content. I don't know what my next video will be, but I do have a long-term video plan. That's probably months out, though, because there's a lot of work that has to be done if I want to do that video. But whatever the next video is, it might be my thoughts on Watch Dogs Legion, because I did pre-order that game, and, you know, maybe I'll do a little review of it. I don't know. But if you'd like to see some more content once I get it out, hit the sub button, ring the bell if you want notifications. That's kind of up to you, though. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on Cold War. See ya.